Every year before school starts, I take my grandchildren out to lunch. It's just something that I like to do because it kind of gives me a chance to get on my little soapbox about the importance of education and talking about school without their parents there, and I can do it in a kind of informal way, and they don't even know they're getting bludgeoned year after year with what I want them to know. And if you're feeding them at the same time, it's really good. And I try to take them to a restaurant that they haven't been to before. I have so many now that I have to divide them up, and I take the kindergarten through 6th grade one day, and I take the 7th grade on up another day. On this particular day, I had the older group that were coming, and I decided to take them to the Cheesecake Factory. I asked around, and not many of them had been there, but they'd all heard of it, and so I thought, oh, this will be fun. This will be an adventure for them. So we took a couple of cars, we got out to the Cheesecake Factory, we went in, the waitress seated them, and then she passed out the menus. The book. Honestly. And they gingerly opened it, and they started to read page by page, and pretty soon, I just sat back and watched, and pretty soon they looked up completely paralyzed. Completely. And one of them said, I don't know what to do. I don't know what. Does anybody know what I should order? And then they went back to it. And I just sat there. I didn't say anything, and I watched this really interesting spectacle of people being confronted with too many options. Finally, one of them said, do you think there's a BLT on this menu? Because I think I like that. And immediately, about 3 of them found the BLT, and they ordered that. And a few were kind of adventurous and decided they wanted to order something they'd never had. As the meal went on, as the food came to our table and the meal went on, I noticed another thing. Not only had many of them been paralyzed in the beginning with too many options, but then the ones who made a choice, the BLT kids started looking at the other kids and saying, maybe I should have gotten that. And then the kids with this entree looked at the others and said, I'm not sure I ordered the best thing. Let me tell you what research says about having too many options and being bombarded by too many possible choices. It says that usually there are 2 responses. We're either paralyzed and can't make a decision and reject the whole thing. If those kids could have walked out at that moment, if I'd said, should we go to McDonald's, I think every one of them would have said yes. Or there is some element of dissatisfaction, because there's the idea that if I had endless choices and then I get something, of course it's not perfect, maybe I made a wrong choice. Maybe there was something better out there that I didn't choose. Okay, tonight I'm not going to give you a list of coping mechanisms for having too many choices, although I'll tell you that if you are doing online shopping, you really ought to limit yourself to about 3 sites. Otherwise, paralysis or, dissatisfaction will set in. That's my only hint I'm going to give you. 3 sites if you're going online.